The 1-900 Wrestling Podcast is brought to you, as always, by 1-900 Wrestling's Patreon page, patreon.com/1900wrestling. We are almost at the point where if we sustain it until WrestleMania, Dills will indeed be able to go and won't be crying in the parking lot. Imagine what a sad sight it would be if we only fell a few dollars short and Dills, instead of enjoying floor seats to WrestleMania, was instead outside soaking the Citrus Bowl parking lot with his tears. You, my friends, can make sure that this does not happen by supporting the best wrestling show on the internet, as well as getting access for yourself to our patron-only Discord. That is where you can talk wrestling any old day of the week, you know, and especially great during pay-per-views, Raws, SmackDowns. Be a part of it. Patreon.com/1900wrestling. But enough of talking about how we do the show. What do you say we just do the damn thing?
I want you to call me for all of wrestling's latest news and views. I've been around in wrestling for 35 years, and nobody knows wrestling like me. Remember the number 1-900 Wrestling.
Stupid idiots.
They call me Hara. And his name is John Cena. Well, look at this prima donna. Thank God Donald Trump's a whole idiot.
Oh, damn, son. Welcome to yet another edition of 1-900 Wrestling, the best wrestling show ever. My name is Justin Robert Young, joining me as always from Austin, Texas. He's got a Hearthstone background right now, but he is all pro wrestling.
Worlds are colliding, Justin. Worlds are colliding right now.
He is hailing from the mean streets of Gadgetzan, Willie Dills Gregory.
By the way, normally I'm at the indie promotion, but today it was storming. I had a tornado warning last night, and everything's just all up in the air. It's just craziness here in Austin, Texas. That was my first like my phone buzzed like it was an Amber Alert, but it was a tornado warning.
Oh, Jesus.
And I was like, oh, that's okay. I guess what am I supposed to do now? Like nobody told me.
Because you previous to coming to Austin, you were a lifelong Bay Area resident.
I was a lifelong San Francisco guy, and everybody talks about, well, aren't you scared of the earthquakes? No, I'm not scared of the earthquakes. They're whatever. They happen every 100 years or so. You get like a whatever. Tornadoes, though, that could just happen at any moment. I mean, nobody told me about this. I went out. I was out all day Sunday. Yeah. Then I come home and tornadoes apparently.
Next thing you know, man, you're gonna get swept up in a derecho.
The Texas tornado. That's right. It's a finishing move here in Texas.
Indeed, off the top rope DDT. Welcome everybody. Now, one of the things that we don't like to do on this show is obsess constantly with everything that happened on the last episode of SmackDown, Raw, what happened.
Sure.
But we've kind of got to do a little recap because
there's stuff.
Because a week ago, we are 1 week removed from maybe one of the best, like, what is it? It was 2 full segments? The Festival of Friendship?
Oh, God. Dude. Well, yeah, we can't not talk about the Festival of Friendship, obviously, because that was, and I think my tweet was, because the season premiere of The Walking Dead this season is maybe the only episode of that show that I will never rewatch. Okay. And I think the last episode of Raw is the only episode of Raw I will never rewatch. I just can't live through that pain again, man.
I mean, what can be said about this that hasn't already been said a million times? Chris Jericho's best segment ever? Question mark?
Maybe. I mean, obviously, the original list of Jericho is up there, right?
The
when
armbar.
You cut to commercial and come back and he's still saying armbar.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fantastic stuff. But here you had him coming out with Showgirls. He's got the stupid hat on. He's dancing down to the ring. And what was great about the whole thing was just, like, they both played it perfectly.
Yeah.
Kevin just being kind of annoyed. And I think we've all, I don't know, everybody's had a friend in their life who's like
just gotten a little too,
like, you're more their friend than they are your friend, right? Like you like them, they're okay, they're all right, but they're just a little too excited when you're hanging out with them, and it just like was screaming that vibe so perfectly. It was great. I really do think like Jericho sold everything in that segment perfectly.
I mean, it was brilliant. There's really no other way to put it. It was kind of perfection, right down to him doing the like you're gonna get, and then the dramatic pause throughout the entire commercial break, and he comes back to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I think was great about it and really made it such a modern sort of twist on, that kind of comedy segment, and really grounded it to the point where this very Road Runner, Wile E. Coyote cartoon ending wound up landing with so much emotion, with the whole list of KO, was that. Did you listen to his live show, his live talk as Jericho with Kevin Owens?
No, I did not actually.
Worth listening to, and they get into a little bit.
When did that go up? Was that before or after this segment?
Before. They recorded that at Survivor Series.
Okay.
And then just released it as a podcast.
This is fairly old then.
2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 or 3 weeks ago. But what's amazing is that if you listen to that, a lot of what Jericho said at the very, very end of that segment about how this is one of the favorite things he's ever
that
done
was
in his
real.
career.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, the favorite year that he's had, that they've really gotten along together, that they have a tremendous chemistry, that it's rare this late in someone's career to kind of find that with a newer performer. Like, there was that one moment where all of a sudden it went from this bizarre homoerotic, cartoon to something that was very real, and not only read real on the segment, but also I think in the arena, and it just made that inevitable betrayal so much more affecting. It was just kind of exquisite.
Well, yeah, you suddenly had this kind of like tearful eye moment where he was definitely, I mean, you could tell he was out of character. The way he was talking changed.
Yeah.
And he just became, Chris.
Became a guy.
Jericho. Yeah. And yeah, it was fantastic. And I will say, like, I think we all kind of knew what was coming, but there were moments when I thought, maybe I'm getting swerved back. Like, maybe they've got me thinking for sure this is about to happen, and it's not going to happen. And then when it finally did happen, it was brutal and awesome at the same time, right? Because it was Kevin Owens going back to kind of NXT and early call-up Kevin Owens.
Big sociopath
exactly.
Kevin Owens. When he just does that big sociopathic inhale, like after hitting the ring apron power bomb, and he's just like, oh, it's like this, like it's great. Like, it just feels like a murderer. Like, he's just like drawing this primal power.
Like he just had a rush of just adrenaline or whatever. That he's just got okay, now it's gone. I'm back. Like, just had to inhale and exhale one time. All right, continue with the assault. It was really well done. And I'll say this too. What was kind of cool about their entire run before this point, which I think was also somewhat rare, is that you don't often see guys get paired together and not just be a tag team.
Yeah.
Right? And then it's like a tag team breakup. They both essentially had solo runs, singles runs, but as best friends. Yeah. And kind of just all of their together stuff wasn't a bunch of tag teams that there was no reason for them to like continue being a tag team.
No, they did Jericho at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Right?
But they did maybe like 5 tag matches.
No, otherwise
like
it was just them interfering
right?
in each other's matches. Like, it was this
constant,
great, it was this great little pairing of the two of them, and at the end of this,
it was like outside of the normal what you like you normally see in wrestling. This is how it works. Is we're gonna put these two strange bedfellows together in a tag team, and then eventually they can't work together and they break up. Right? That's just like. That's how it's always worked. And this was kind of new and refreshing and interesting, was to just have these guys be like, and then they teased the breakup, so many times, so well. Still the like, saying unanimously like Roman Reigns is the problem. Like, that's still one of my favorite moments of the last year. And like, it couldn't have been any better, dude. It was great. But apparently Mitsula, who was there because it was in
Yes.
Las Vegas. Apparently, all of the signs he brought, and I think one of them was a Diamond Club Dills to Mania sign,
Yeah.
did make it onto
The
the
Festival of
show.
Friendship. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a little washed out in the back.
I'm
but,
gonna have to I don't want to go back and watch the Festival of Friendship again, but I guess I'm gonna have to.
Guess you're
I'm
gonna
gonna have to
to
break my heart one more time, but I'll just pay attention to the signs in the back this time.
And here's the only one other thing that I want to just acknowledge because everybody seems to get real fired up about it. But right now, you have Chris Jericho as an absolute white meat babyface. Everyone's gonna love him when he comes out next, right? And Kevin Owens, who has gotten a lot of cheers, even though he is a fairly despicable heel champion, now will be booed out of the building the next time when he shows up on Raw tonight. Like,
these are true. This is a true babyface heel now. Like, you know what's really cool is Jericho can now be babyface with the list and the scarf and
everything.
When he was face when he first kind of returned after Fozzy tour and whatever, he was just kind of trunks and nothing and whatever. And then, of course, turning on turning on Styles is what he started bringing back, the scarf and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
He was face all the way up until then. So,
just great work, man. I mean, there's really nothing else to say other than that Raw, which the previous 2 hours were good. Weren't the best, but man, that third hour absolutely nuclear. And part of it is another great women's championship main event. This one goes the way of Bayley. Bayley, your new women's champion. The girlhood dream has been achieved.
They really, really don't want Charlotte to ever lose on a pay-per-view, clearly. They want to milk this streak thing, but they still want to give Bayley the title here, I think. So it's kind of interesting to watch. And actually, there was a post on Squared Circle about this. Asuka apparently is now butting up against Goldberg levels of streak down there as well. And it's not even being talked about, but it'll be interesting to see if she kind of makes her presence felt now pretty soon. And then maybe you've got the immovable object, of Asuka, and then, Charlotte, and they go up against each other in a pay-per-view or something like that.
Well,
so,
you got to figure that either Charlotte gets the title back at Fastlane or, I mean, because what I think is happening is that now what they want to build up is that the pay-per-view streak is bigger than the title.
Sure. Yeah.
And that now, even if Bayley goes into WrestleMania as the champion, that it's going to be a big thing that she retains because she can break the pay-per-view streak. And I've got a theory on this.
All right,
we'll see what happens at WrestleMania. But they are very meticulous about how they build that WrestleMania card, right?
Sure.
And you don't want too many of the exact same endings. So let's say you are building up for somebody to dramatically win a title, or there's going to be moments where people dramatically win championships. You want a few babyface champion comes in and retains, and the best way to do that is to have Bayley break Charlotte's pay-per-view.
Oh yeah, breaking the streak at WrestleMania because they can talk all about how she's missed pay-per-view and all that kind of stuff.
And she can still basically Charlotte can walk in saying, "Oh well, come on, you're garbage. Obviously, I'm going to win at this pay-per-view. This is going to be a walk in the park. Bayley retains. It can be a good time for everybody." So the match was great, though. The match was fantastic.
It was really good. It was actually because the first time they did the women as the main event thing, right? I felt like the match was pretty good, but it was kind of like the big star of it was just that it was the main event in a way. And this to me just felt like, well, this was just the biggest match of the night. Like, this was just, as far as implications go and as far as names go, it doesn't matter that they're the women's division. These are just there's more going on in this storyline.
This is the biggest fight that we can make
as far as
tonight.
what's at stake, right? Yeah. And it deserves to be, because, it's not going to be Roman Reigns versus Luke Gallows and Anderson, right? That's not going to be the main event.
Yeah.
By the way, and I know we're not going into all of the stuff for the entire card of Raw.
Yeah.
But it was really it's now it's very obvious that WWE understands what Roman Reigns is good for, right? Which is tease that he's gonna go over.
Yes.
And make everybody pissed, and it's just like they keep reinforcing that they know this. Like to put him in a handicap match against Gallows and Anderson, the champs now, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my god, he's just gonna go over both of these guys now. We're just gonna show you how strong he is because he can beat the entire tag team champs by himself.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, that's not actually gonna happen. They're just gonna beat the
As
crap
long
out
as
of
they
him.
didn't have to eat the pin, I was excited with anything that didn't involve them eating the pin. So I was excited about that match because it ended in just a DQ.
It was the right thing to do. It was, I mean, the Gallows and Anderson played the heel role perfectly there, and we'll see. I'm interested to see where they go as far as I'm with you, man. I want to see Raw versus SmackDown.
I would love that.
champion
Yeah,
versus
just
champion.
a
so good.
Yeah, just a little bragging rights thing at WrestleMania. That'd be super fun. Speaking
And Bo
of
Dallas
SmackDown-
nuclear heat for tearing up the ice cream recipe. All right, that's all you really need to know from Raw.
Speaking of SmackDown, Bray Wyatt apparently at the insistence of John Cena.
Of John
backstage,
Cena, I know.
If you were to believe,
this is great to hear, by the way.
If you were to believe X-Pac, former X-Pac Sean Waltman.
I mean, X-Pac knows everything that's going on behind the scenes, right?
I mean, apparently he
True
was behind the
insider.
scenes. That show was at Anaheim, so he lives in L.A. Or I guess he was visiting L.A. Maybe he's, I don't know. I don't know where X-Pac lives.
This week on Where is X-Pac?
I think he lives in Philly. I
Sure.
wound up
I'm
sending
with
him. Did I ever tell you that he contacted me via DM about the Contender?
What?
Yeah. No, within a week.
That seems very outside of his universe, but all right.
No, he's very politically plugged in and apparently knows a bunch of Fox News personalities, but really liked the Contender Kickstarter video. Within a week, I literally got contacted by Billy Gunn and X-Pac. Billy Gunn for my Ass Man thing that I did at Nerdtacular, and X-Pac about the Contender. I was soaked in late 90s DX.
Yeah. So every boy's dream to get contacted by X-Pac.
Oh,
and Billy
geez,
Gunn.
come on! I was in my heaven. But yeah, so according to X-Pac, John Cena very insistent that Bray Wyatt get the pin on the face that runs the place to officially cement the era of Wyatt. And of course, in SmackDown tradition, a great little ending to the show. Randy Orton, the Viper, the Sneck, comes on out and says, "I am the servant. You are the master. I am relinquishing my shot at the title for WrestleMania, leading up to a battle royal this week to see who gets it." Here's my question to you. Are they really going to do a triple threat?
Well, who are you putting in the match if it's a triple threat?
Luke.
Bray, you really think it's going to be the
Randy.
entire? Okay, so I don't know, man. I think we're just seeing a little bit of a will they or won't they kind of moment here as we end up still getting Orton Bray Wyatt. I think this is like the beginning of that storyline, right? This is when in a rom-com, like nobody's just like telling each other what's going on, and they're just like finding it's that moment where you're like, I can't believe that they're just gonna not do it. That is like kind of this moment here, and what's gonna happen is he's devoting himself to him. They'll have a whole stink about who he's gonna face, who's the number one contender, or something like that, or maybe even some sort of thing where they want to like find out who the number one contender is, and Orton just like wins that again, and is just like clearly the guy who's supposed to face him for the title.
He's gonna give up a shot and then come in again and win it again.
Well, they're gonna give somebody a chance to take away his Royal Rumble victory chance, right? And then he just like wins that again. And then you end up with some sort of like Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader thing, where he like won't kill him, but then he has to. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of ways you could go with this at this point.
Hey, by the way, breaking news right now. Apparently, when we record this is when the WWE likes to launch their Hall of Fame updates. This Hall of Fame going in. It's me. It's DDP. Cue up your pod-safe versions of Smells Like Teen Spirit because Diamond Dallas Page is going into the Hall of Fame. Bang.
I mean, if nothing else, if he didn't have a fantastic career, he saved several wrestlers' lives after his career, right, was over. So
that's certainly, certainly part of the mythology at this point, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
he is a huge part of that. And
yeah, like Jake the Snake would be dead now, right, if it wasn't for DDP. So I actually had a buddy in in Oakland. He lives in Oakland, who busted his knee up, had to get surgery, and started DDP yoga, and swears by it that it fixed him and made his golf game better, all at the same time.
Really?
Yeah.
I tell you what, man, everybody's all up on the DDP yoga.
We should give it a shot, man. We should do some DDP yoga.
We should
and then come on this show and talk about how well it did for us, our experiences with it.
Let me ask you this: were you ever a big DDP guy?
I like Yeah, well, I mean, who doesn't like the diamond cutter, right?
Sure.
I mean, yeah. And you know, holding your hand above your head in the shape of a diamond, it was just one of those things when we were as a kid. Because I think when I was the most into wrestling, was at the height of WCW versus WWE, right?
Yeah,
like that was kind of like that was my moment where wrestling, like I actually cared and watched every Monday. I flipped back and forth. I had to actually get up and walk to the TV to change the channel, but I did it because I had to find out what was going on each show. And yeah, DDP was friggin' awesome, coming out in jeans. Just tearing people. He was like the Dean Ambrose back then, right? Coming out in his jeans and hitting the diamond cutter out of nowhere.
I loved DDP. And really, I think probably his biggest legacy of why he was able to have the career that he has was he's just kind of an operator, right? He was the only guy that in a legendarily fractious backstage of WCW, where you had a lot of guys that had a lot of power over their own character, and they would say when they were going to do, one thing or another. He was like the only guy that got along with everybody. And
he was the guy who was like, I'm lucky to be here, man. We're all freaking lucky to be here doing this, And yeah, he was like the original lucky to be here guy. Who was just happy to, and he didn't have much of title runs, did he? I'm trying to remember if
he got the title in WCW.
The
and then got buried when he came to WWE as like the Undertaker's stalker. But other than that, no, he did. I mean, he did very, very well for himself in WCW. Rode that train until it hit its final stop. So good for DDP. And he allegedly wife swapped with Eric Bischoff. So there's also that. Let's go ahead and get into our bit for tonight. What we want to do is ask an age-old question, right, Willie?
Well, here's the thing. I think that, and this didn't originate from us. I didn't come up with this idea all on my own in a vacuum. This was inspired by reading some Squared Circle stuff, and recently there's been 2 posts kind of posing this question in different ways. But what I think we can do that our Squared Circle doesn't seem to do, and a lot of people who are wrestling fans don't seem to do, is we can take it one step further.
Sure. And
we could take the world of wrestling and rip it out and put it into the real world and apply wrestling tactics and tropes and bring those into our reality for people who are outside of wrestling. And I think that's when wrestling really shines. When you like the other night I was playing with my dog and I gave him a Stone Cold Stunner and I was like, see, and he loved it. He was like, oh my God, that was the best. Okay, let's do that again. And I was like, this is perfect. Wrestling is now helping me connect with my pet. So, like, when you take wrestling and apply it to the real world.
Please do not send your emails. That was playful puppying.
Yes, don't worry. My dog is fine. He's right here.
And by the way, he sold it like a champ.
He's a good worker.
He sold it like a champ. Yeah, no, he looked great.
Oh, yeah.
No, none of that Linda McMahon bullshit.
Nope.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to play our game, which is called... Who's the All right. Who's the Jannetty?
Who? All right, let's do it.
Bert and Ernie. Who's the Jannetty?
See, okay. Now we got a lot of people in here who are real people. Bert and Ernie, obviously puppets.
Yeah.
Now I also want to point out there's some major criteria you can look at here if you're worried about where to start.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out who the Jannetty is, because I think most people default to who's going to go on to fail miserably when the two ultimately part ways.
But there's a lot packed into there, right? Because number one, there's who's less likely to be a solo star.
Sure.
But there's also who is lovable that the other person can be mean to them. Right?
Yeah.
Like, because that's a huge part of it, is that you had to care for Marty Jannetty to care about him getting his face thrown through that barbershop window.
And who is more likely to be the one to super kick the other through a window? Like, this is, you got to understand that phase as well. And then, of course, who do you think could come back from that and be lovable again, 5 years down the road, right? After such a heel move, right? So yeah. I feel like if Ernie were to turn on Bert, there's just no coming back from that. I think Bert could super kick Ernie through a window, and eventually I'd love Bert again. Because he just, I don't know.
I feel like Ernie is the Jannetty. I think you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And also, hey, look, everybody looks at Ernie and you're like, oh, Ernie's the one who's pulling the weight here. You want to know what? You can't have a show with all Kramers, okay? Like you got to have the straight man. Bert is the straight man. He's actually a better performer. I'm going to go ahead and say Bert is your HBK. Yeah, Ernie
Bert is definitely
is your
HBK. Like he's he's the one, he's the mastermind, he's the architect, he's the one who's got it all going on. Yeah, Ernie's just going to like go off on his own and disappear and then show up in TNA somewhere down the line, right? That's Ernie's future.
What
is
Ernest
the TNA of like
Impact
Sesame
Zone?
Street?
Like
all
right,
if Sesame Street is WWE,
yeah.
Like what's your like lower tier indie promotion of like the kids' world? It's just like some random PBS show.
Oh no, it's Canada. They have to go to the Canadian public. Yeah, some Canadian CBC show.
It's like the Romper Room or something like that, right? Like suddenly, what's Ernie doing in the Romper Room, Maggle?
All right, let me ask you this.
I'm with you. I think we got that one right.
Siegfried and Roy. Now this one might get even a little bit too real.
Well, okay. Maybe in this situation, the Tiger is the HBK.
Well, no. I mean, all we really need is one cutaway shot to Siegfried just kind of like flipping a latch, right?
Sure.
Or rubbing some steak on Roy's sequins.
Oh God! So do you think was that the actual turn right there?
Siegfried's the HBK here. Roy's the one who had to take the Tiger, right?
Yeah, it's true. I think it did get too real. I should have thought about that before I put this one in there. Now, look, you'll notice like that there's someone here that you might go, these are obvious, right? But like what I wanted to avoid was something where it's like Jerry Seinfeld and George Costanza, because like come on, like the Jannetty is obvious there. If anything, you do like George and Kramer or something like that, right? And try to figure out who it is.
Sure.
So we're trying to go for like where they're on fairly level playing fields here, and you really have to figure out, because before the Rockers broke up, right?
Yeah.
It was kind of clear, but I always just looked at they were just kind of both the same guy for a long time.
I loved the Rockers. They were my favorite tag team when I was a kid.
Hell
it was big, high energy, feathered hair. All of it. I loved every little bit of it.
The buck in the chat. Which one did the Tiger eat? He's the Jannetty.
Yeah, that was Roy. Roy got eaten by the Tiger. Right. Siegfried would be the HBK. All right, let's move on to something that actually has a bit of a tie to the news here. How about Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant, teammates on the All-Star game last night after their acrimonious breakup?
And they actually did have a. They did have a moment where was it KD gave an alley-oop to Westbrook, and everybody went crazy. That was the only real big moment of the All-Star game, I think, last night. It was another boring, nobody plays defense, everybody just shoots and tries to windmill dunk the entire time. But I think we gotta say, Russell Westbrook is the Jannetty, right? Because KD, like him going to the Warriors was the super kick through the window.
I think that they should play the Oklahoma City Thunder should just play in the shattered remains of the barbershop window. Like there should actually just be barbershop glass all over the floor that they
at the beginning of every game when the players get introduced, every single game, Westbrook should get super kicked through a window as he's coming out by like some sort of KD lookalike. And that would be perfect, I think.
And to be fair, it's not because Russell Westbrook isn't amazing, because he obviously is, but it's like whenever they actually play each other now, like the Warriors just turn them to ash. So
the
it's
Warriors
like
have beaten them by like 30 every single time.
The
and
weaker
KD
one.
has scored, I think he's averaging 35 against them when they play. And Westbrook is trying his best, and now, he's getting into screaming matches on the court with KD. I mean, it's just a mess now.
It's a problem.
And you've also got every time they interview Westbrook, it's very clear that he is super hurt. And KD, when they interview him, he's kind of like, well, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll talk to him. Maybe I won't. I don't know. Whatever. He's the heel now, right? So it was definitely a heel turn when he went to the Warriors.
He's definitely the one that's like, hey man, we're all adults. Can we just move on? Like,
sure.
I don't know why everybody's getting so worked up about it.
Yeah, sure. I super kicked him through a window, but I had to get on with my singles career.
I know. Kerr's in his ear saying like, oh, I think it was running away and cowardice. The ghost of Gorilla Monsoon says, "Will you stop?" All right, so Russell Westbrook. Here we go. You are the Jannetty! All right, moving along. Milli Vanilli. Girl, you know it's true.
Yep. Ooh.
You know,
Vanilli is the
by the
Jannetty.
way, you want to know who
line, right?
There's two Jannettys. You want to know who they are?
I think there's actually two Jannettys here. This is the one time. First of all, they never turn on each other, right?
No.
Not
which
Milli
is
and
why.
Vanilli.
Which is why the real Jannettys are the guys who actually sang that song, who got denied a Grammy.
So both these guys are the HBK.
Both of
and
them
the guys
are the
who
HBK.
actually sang their
song. The guys
song
who sang "Girl, You Know It's True."
They
are the real Jannetys.
Okay, I like that. I think that's a good call.
They're the Jannetys. Yeah, you are the Jannettys. Bill and Ted, Alex Winters versus Keanu Reeves.
So, I'll say this. Keanu obviously went on to a more successful movie career, right? But did he ever play a vampire in The Lost Boys? No, he didn't.
Stop it.
So
stop
I don't know.
coddling. Stop coddling your Jannetty. This is as cut and dry as you could possibly say.
They say John
Reeves.
Wick is definitely the HBK.
Of course he is.
All right. What's funny is that
Reeves,
in that movie, though, this is like the reversal. This is the ultimate, reversal of fortunes, right? Because in that movie, Keanu was what, Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like the dumb
Ted.
one,
He was
right?
Ted Theodore Logan. Or was that no. That was Alex Winters, yeah.
Okay, yeah, but he was the dumb one, and Alex Winters was like the leader, right? He was kind of the one who, and sure, they're both dumb.
I think they're both dumb. They were both dumb, for sure.
Well, yeah, but like Keanu was dumber in that movie, right?
I don't know.
If this
I feel
was
like
dumb and dumber. Keanu was dumber.
I mean, that's all right. Email us about that. JustinRobertYoung@gmail.com. Was there a smarter one in Bill and Ted?
Was there a smarter one between Bill and Ted? I mean, yeah. Look, and I think
Alex Winter was Bill S. Preston, and Keanu Reeves was Ted Theodore Logan.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, exactly. All right. There you go. So Ted was, I think, the dumber one. And didn't Bill have like love stories and stuff? And
they
then
both
Ted
did. They
didn't
both
really
had
have
the
any?
princesses.
Oh, I guess that's true. Yeah. It's been a while since I watched that movie. I heard that it was teased they were going to have a new one.
Yeah, apparently it's been like in the works forever. But here we go.
But Keanu's too busy, murdering 500 people in his latest movie.
No, I mean that's the thing is that number one, Keanu Reeves' WrestleMania main event with Stone Cold Steve Austin was The Matrix, and now his final big matches with The Undertaker and Ric Flair is John Wick. Like that dude is he is so HBK it hurts.
What is the biggest movie that Alex Winters has been in, by the way?
Oh,
because he certainly doesn't have like a Matrix type anything.
Alex
right?
Winter is a director now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So he just moved he just moved behind the camera. All right.
No, he did the Napster documentary. No, he's good.
Apparently, he did a Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure TV series at some point. Well, what do you know?
No, I think yeah. Other than that,
Oh
no.
yeah, he's got 27 credits as a director. Wow.
No, he's a guy. He's like an actual director, and he is also the Jannetty. Alex Winter, you are the Jannetty. All right. What else? What else do we got? Hey, Tina Fey and Amy Poehler. Who says the girls can't?
Ooh. Now this one's a little tough, dude. This is rough. They've both gone on to do amazing things after SNL, right? And originally, I'll say this. Originally, I had in here Jimmy Fallon and Tina Fey, and then I realized
No. The real heat is with the
duo.
girls. Yeah.
I don't know, man. Parks and Rec is one of my favorite shows of all time. It's hard for me to call Amy Poehler a Jannetty.
Someone's got to be a Jannetty.
Someone's got to be a Jannetty. Yeah. Oh man. See, I'm all right. In all of the movies that we see lately, Tina Fey tends to play like the leader of the two, and Amy Poehler's like the funny, quirky one. But also, Amy Poehler's just funnier in all of them, right? Like
she's a better performer, but
Yeah.
she
Has she had any
is at
dud
her
movies,
best.
though?
She's at her best when Tina Fey is writing the scripts. I think Amy Poehler is the Jannetty.
Amy Poehler's the Jannetty, huh?
Yeah, people in the chat room agree. Amy Poehler is the Jannetty.
Oh God, I hate to say it, but I'm trying to find reasons why.
You are the Jannetty.
Amy Poehler, you're the Jannetty.
Amy Jannetty. All right, Luke and Han.
Luke and Han, dude. This is tough, but I mean,
So we are
how
just
could
doing
Luke
the
ever be
characters.
Jannetty?
We're just doing the characters here.
Yeah. This is not Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford, because if it were, then
it's Harrison Ford.
Here's a funny situation.
Yeah.
If you take the people and not the characters, the Jannetty is the opposite.
Yes.
Right. So this is an enigma wrapped in a Jannetty right here. And yeah, I think you gotta say Han Solo, you are the Jannetty. I'm sorry.
Han
I mean,
Solo,
you
but
got
he
frozen
gets
in
the
carbonite
girl.
just to test it for the real HBK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to know what? I'm with you. Han Solo, you are the Jannetty. You are the Jannetty.
Even though Han is a badass in his own right. The problem is, if Han had still shot first, I'd say he's not the Jannetty. But in the modern Star Wars world.
All right. Jim and Dwight from The Office.
Jim and Dwight from The Office. I mean, Dwight's the obvious Jannetty here, right? Although,
gets the
here's what's
girl.
weird about it as you watch it.
Hey, by the way, though, who had the better career?
Well, yeah, Dwight became Mr. Manager, right? And
Kinda
he
feel
owned the
like,
building. He's got a beet farm. I mean, all Jim's got is like a dumb, beautiful wife and family. Who cares about that kind of stuff? I'm still gonna go Dwight's the Jannetty though.
All right, Dwight.
He's just too goofy.
You are the Jannetty. Dwight, you are the Jannetty.
All right, we got a couple more here, and we're gonna get abstract with a few of them
All right.
after this last one. These are the last like real people.
Lennon and McCarthy. This one's contentious, bro. This one is contentious. But again, we're in Siegfried and Roy territory here, because I'll tell you what if in Catcher in the Rye, there's that is its own little barbershop window.
I mean, I guess, but but see, Wings makes Paul McCartney the Jannetty in my mind.
You can't. No.
Lennon never went on to
he got
be in a
shot.
band called the Wings.
Because he got shot, son. I'm sorry.
Well, okay, but maybe that saved him from becoming the Jannetty. That's all I'm saying.
No.
Listen, I'm a bass player.
Okay.
And so I'm a Paul McCartney guy,
Yeah.
right? The chat said John Lennon versus Joseph McCarthy. Yes, exactly. Lennon with the IN. No, but so like I would choose Paul McCartney like in a vacuum because I'm a bass player and his his bass playing is like what I kind of based myself on when I first started out, right?
Yeah.
He was like the guy. He was like the first, like he was to me the guy who made bass playing like you could play melodies on bass. It was dope. It was amazing. However, he then went on to, sell like Beatle or tell Michael Jackson he should buy the Beatles rights, do that song "Say Say Say" with Michael Jackson, do Wings. And John Lennon will always be known for Imagine. I think I gotta say McCartney's the Jannetty in my mind.
John Lennon, I'm sorry, you can't be the HBK when you literally went through the window. He never came back from the window. And listen, it's harsh, it's ugly, but there's one guy who went on, and whatever you think about Wings, man, those records sold.
They
it
did
wasn't like
sell,
they were
you're
sitting
right.
on the
Here's
shelves.
the thing, though. Here's the other thing. I'll give you this. McCartney did not have a Yoko Ono. And
Well, not until later. I mean,
but even then, he never had a Yoko.
Little,
he never had the girl who he just like put on stage when he finally played with like some of his rock icons, right? Like, and then weirdly screamed and played a bizarre drum. That never happened.
Wait a minute. No, didn't Linda McCartney, wasn't she in Wings?
Yeah, but she was like actually okay. She didn't like something like ah! like randomly.
Oh, there is no doubting that if John Lennon survived, we would have thought about him differently, because the music that he was putting out by the time that he died is not exactly stuff that everybody remembers.
Heavily Ono influenced.
Yes.
I'll say that. Yeah, they got weird there at the end. All right, you know what? Look.
John
I want to
Lennon.
fight you on this.
Yeah.
But your facts are solid. Your
I'll tell
argument
you
is
what.
airtight. He did go
Imagine
through
all
the
the
window.
people living life, understanding that you, John Lennon, are the Jannetty! All right, here we go.
Okay.
Let's go abstract in our
We're going
abstract
abstract
corner. Bacon and eggs. Who's the
Bacon
Jannetty?
and eggs. Man. Now, both of them, not necessarily great for your heart
No.
or your cholesterol levels. However, if you're gearing up for a big fight, if you're a boxer, you drink the raw eggs, right? But do you ever see scenes of Rocky just like slamming down
slamming some strips,
like a side of raw bacon?
Yo, Adrian, make sure that I can get some strips.
That being said, bacon is goddamn delicious, right?
Bacon's the HBK. Come on.
Yeah.
You just hear it sizzling in the pan. It's doing the HBK like pop, 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 pop.
Also, let's just break it down to actual semantics here.
Yeah.
Bacon is the heartbreak kid because it does cause your heart to break.
You know I'm
you
ready.
gotta go eggs in the Jannetty, dude.
You know
Eggs
I
in the
sizzle.
Jannetty.
I'm in the pan, and the fat is flying out.
And when it's popping in the pan, it's tuning up the band, right?
It
So
is.
yeah, it all makes sense,
Oh,
dude.
yeah. Eggs, I'm sorry, bro. You are the Jannetty. Peanut butter jelly time.
Peanut butter and jelly. All right. Now, I'm going to break this down like this. It's hard to pair jelly with something that's not peanut butter.
Yeah.
But with peanut butter, you can pair that with like chocolate. You can my dog loves some peanut butter just with like anything. I'll
Sure.
just mess a bunch of dog food up with some peanut butter. He loves that.
Yep.
I think peanut butter, you can find a new tag team partner for peanut butter. But it's hard to find another tag team partner for jelly, man.
Are we
So
including
maybe
all,
that means jelly has to go on to a solo career.
Are we including all jams and preserves?
Oh, are we throwing all jams and preserves in the one big basket
in the jelly?
No, I think when we're talking about that, like peanut butter usually just goes with like strawberry jelly, right? Or like grape jelly.
Just grape jelly, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I
peanut
don't know.
butter
I
is
gotta go
probably a
peanut
little
butter,
bit
dude.
more
Peanut
universal.
butter has got a bigger range. I think,
Oh, Wally77 in the chat, though, says jelly donut. You see a
jelly
peanut butter donut around?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a peanut butter donut would
Maybe
be kind of weird.
peanut butter flavored ice or icing, but never really just peanut butter, right?
Okay, peanut butter makes a better tag team partner. So peanut butter can go on, continuing in the tag division, or jelly kind of has to move out on its own. All right, peanut butter, you're the Jannetty. Fine.
Peanut butter, you are the Jannetty. Peanut butter, you are the Jannetty. Peanut butter, you are the Jannetty.
Okay, we got one more, and we're gonna get real here.
Yeah, here we go. You ready? You ready to slug this one out?
Yeah, we're gonna slug it out, dude.
All right, here we go. Oakland versus San Francisco. I am a current resident of Oakland. Willie was raised and a resident of San Francisco.
Born and raised.
Native in the city. Make your case. Make your case, good sir.
So so here's the problem for me. I'm gonna make a case for San Francisco as a man who moved out of the city.
Yeah.
Which is a little rough. So I've already kind of got a strike against me.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, here's why San Francisco is the HBK. Because San Francisco basically just constantly is like stepping on Oakland's neck, right?
Sure.
San Francisco is like, oh yeah, you really got a cool thing going there with those Warriors, huh? That's pretty awesome.
Yep.
It'd be a shame if somebody took them away and put them in San Francisco. And then of course you got the Giants and the A's, where the A's are like, oh my God, we went to the World Series 3 years in a row. This is pretty dope. And the Giants like, yeah, it'd be a shame if we won 3 World Series in 5 years, huh? And then all of a sudden you guys were at the bottom of the heap. And then
it's
of course,
also kind of odd that they're in the same media market and yet one team's really rich and the other one isn't. You know, like that's also weird. Like
when you go to a game, and for anybody who's never been to a game at the Oakland Coliseum and at AT&T Park, Oakland Coliseum has still got like CRT monitors up on the when you're sitting, even in like the best seats, when you like look up and you want to see what just happened on the screen, they're like tiny old school 12-inch TVs.
By the way, the difference between going to see an A's game at the Coliseum and a Giants game at whatever phone AT&T Park, right?
whatever current phone company is sponsoring them.
Is,
sure.
You know, the T-Mobile experience is the difference not between first class and coach, but first class and the storage below the plane, like where they keep dogs.
Where your dog flies when you travel with your dog. That's Oakland right now. It's unfortunate because the A's deserve much better.
They do. They
not to mention now,
a very poor.
Apparently the Raiders are leaving. So, just forget major sports markets in Oakland anymore.
Yeah.
But now let's just talk about other stuff. Now, Oakland, I think, wins out in quaint, cool neighborhoods. I think Oakland still, and also Oakland wins in its ability to protest. You guys crush us when it comes to protesting.
Oh no, East Bay protests definitely trying to instruct the San Franciscans how to really do it.
Yeah, because the San Franciscans protest where they go out and they're like, oh, there's not like a Pete's Coffee nearby. I think I'm just over this protest.
Well, I mean, the way you stop an Oakland protest is just by saying, all right, let's all go plan what we're going to protest out at Mission Dolores. And next thing you know, they're high. It's 8 o'clock and everybody just goes home.
Yeah, everybody just, grabs a burrito and heads home. But I think it's really hard for me to ever think that San Francisco is not the HBK, mostly because of dicking over Oakland. Not because San Francisco is just inherently some greater city, but just because San Francisco is just more willing to dick over the other guy.
You want to know what? I'm as much as I want to stand up for my adopted hometown here. I love Oakland. It is to me the superior place to spend my days. However, you kind of can't argue with it when, because of the amount of car break-ins. And we can even tie this back to the news peg because the Ascension and Heath Slater found out about the Oakland smash and grab.
That's right. They got robbed in Oakland.
You have to say the town with more glass on the ground is definitely the Jannetty. So I am sorry, Oaktown, but you are the Jannetty.
You are the Jannetty.
All right. everybody.
By the way, they had a true Oakland experience. I mean, much like I did when I came back and we were hanging out in San Francisco, then went to Oakland and I got punched in the face.
And,
So I was like, you know
Dills
what?
got punched
I
in
was
the
just here
face.
for the true Oakland experience. That's all.
God, what a weird night. All right, everybody, you can please email us, justinrobertyoung@gmail.com. Put wrestling in the subject line, and we will read your emails. But before
I would love to hear what you guys think, and if you have any other ideas for who is the Jannetty. I mean, we could just revisit this on one-offs whenever things come up, right? So, definitely.
Yeah. No, totally. All right. We of course like to end each episode with a with our melodica cover. Let's go ahead and hear. I believe this was our one.
This was the easiest one we've had so far, by the way. I believe.
Oh wait, no, here it is. This I just got to play this one more time, just because.
Just the beginning.
Just the beginning. Just the change hitting the ground.
Now, does it sound like it's hitting the ground, or it sounds like it's just going into a cup?
It
to me.
is.
Like
It
just
is.
drop change into a cup and then
Just
grab the
drop
melodica
change
and
into a
went.
cup. That, of course, is when you hear the glass, that's your ass. The Stone Cold Steve Austin theme song. A lot of people got that one on Twitter. Of course, everybody send your guesses into at Justin R. Young on Twitter and at Willie Dills on Twitter. This is your melodica cover for this week's episode of 1-900 Wrestling. All right, one more time. All right, everybody, go ahead and send your guesses at Justin R. Young on Twitter, at Willie Dills on Twitter. Willie, what do you got coming up this week?
Mostly a lot of Hearthstone. That's basically the plan. But we're also we've been streaming live pool on my channel a little bit, and it's been quite fun. So we're going to continue to work on that and try to improve that streaming experience. Try to get some multi-cam things going. Maybe even have microphones and have matches going, and I'll be like calling the action. As well as all week on my stream, you'll be seeing peppered in throughout my normal streams Dills Hearthstone League featured matches where I'm casting the matches live as they happen. I'm solo casting them currently, which is a lot harder than I thought. But you can find them all like just whenever they get scheduled, I'll tweet about it at Willie Dills on Twitter. But just twitch.tv/WillieDillsSF. But having a lot of fun casting those. Justin, if you ever want to come and cast one with me, that'd be quite fun.
Oh, I'd love to. That'd be great. Yeah, no, let me text me when we're done, and we'll set that up. But
yeah, I'll let you know for this week what the schedule's like, and if things line up correctly, then we could do it. It'd be sweet. Casting by yourself is like totally fun and doable, but man, it is tiring at the end because you just can't stop talking, right? You just got to keep going. There's no way to like bounce something off of or like help build the joke. You just have to nail it yourself. So it's good practice though.
Now he's escaping me. Who, guys? I wanted to make the joke. Who is the ECW announcer? Oh my God!
Oh,
I keep wanting to say Joey Ryan because I have Joey Ryan on the brain, but it was Joey.
It's not.
Wasn't Joey? Was it a Joey
Styles?
Joey Styles, right?
Joey Styles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joey Styles. Yeah.
Oh, this guy. Yeah, I just pulled him up actually.
That's you don't have to Joey Styles anymore. You don't have to go one mic. You know,
sure,
I can come on. I'll help you out with the DHL. For everybody else, if you are listening to this live, The Contender, the Game of Presidential Debate, on sale for today only. At the end of today, it goes off sale. Right now, you can get free shipping and our $17.76 priced base deck, as well as the 2016 expansion for free with every orders during President's Day, because we are celebrating the birth of Abe Lincoln and George Washington. So go ahead and check that out. TheContender.us. And for those of you who like the games, Just saying. Announced the new game is going to be called, at least now, it's going to be called Action News. And I think you guys are going to really, really, really enjoy it. So go ahead and check that out. But until next time, of course, patreon.com/1900wrestling is where you can support this show. And we will see you next week.
I want you to call me for all of wrestling's latest news and views. I've been around in wrestling for 35 years, and nobody knows wrestling like me. Remember the number 1-900 Wrestling.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Boom.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I think I got about 9 minutes until I am due on the Weird Things podcast. So I will bid a fond adieu. I know Bryce is probably watching this right now. If you want to start the live stream right now, Bryce, and just put something up there as a placeholder, everybody can just go run over to twitch.tv/nightattack to sit in on that. Of course, that's me, Brian Brushwood, and Andrew Main talking all things of the weird. And until then, I will talk to you guys later. See you later.
Peace.
Play some music on the way out. Okay. Cool. Got it.
Good, I hope again. I hope I get into heaven. I hope we forgiven.
Everybody.
I hope Jesus, as far as I know, look like man do I know when I see Florida Evans, them sevens I weigh in them six. I'm staying religious, cause we